Now while copying, make sure that you have got everything in the selection, and then only click on this mirror tool here, click here, and then click and then drag. I'm holding shift to constrain the angle to get exact mirror at 90-degree snap, and I'll hold alt to make a copy, because if I don't hold alt, it's going to just mirror it. That is not what I want. Okay, I'll say Ctrl Z and then do it once again. This time I'm holding alt to make a copy of it. Fine. We all know that the coin pocket usually is only at one side of the die, so we are going to remove this. Okay, now there is this problem. If I remove the rivet, fine. Removing this is also fine. But if I remove this happens. So basically we need to merge these two shapes together. So we are going to select these two shapes and go to Pathfinder. Let's first select these two. This one and this one. These two shapes. We need to weld these two together. So we are going to go to Windows menu and then look for Pathfinder. Now there is this Pathfinder here, and we are going to use Unite, which eliminates the center line. Alright. Now the next thing is making the fly of the denim. Okay. So we are going to use pen tool once again. Click here and click once here and click and drag to set the curve. Fine. Okay. Now notice this line had some problem here. Now this line is not having any issues. Actually the line we created on top of it has a fill applied to it. If you notice the toolbar, so set to no fill. This problem goes away. We'll put a button here, and this line should not bleed into this part. So I'll just click and drag. This is how it should look. Alright. Now when I did it, I purposely actually elongated it so that you can see the mistake. If you resize it in such a fashion, you are going to end up having this trouble here at the bottom of the fly. So I want to resize it, but you should not do this with the first tool, the selection tool. Instead switch to direct selection tool and only target this anchor point. Make sure that nothing else is selected. This is not selected, this is not selected, and then click and drag it. This time you are not transforming the entire shape, but you are only moving one anchor point's location to a different place. Okay, the fly is ready. If you want it to be longer, you need to select these two anchor points. You can do so by holding shift and then drag it down. If you want it wider, you can do the same. You can select these two and then drag it like so. Okay. You can recalibrate the curve as much as you want by dragging this handle. Okay, now it seems well. Nice. The fly also has a stitch. Let's say that I have a stitch here on the fly. So I'm going to use the pen tool and create this stitch here. And I'm going to apply the stroke settings from this one. I'll click on I on the keyboard to switch to eyedropper and click here. Need another stitch here. So I'm going to add up a line. So click and then drag and hit I on the keyboard, take out the properties from this one, and it's fine. Okay, now let's just add up this button here. I'm just going to copy this one only and maybe increase its size a little to create that button. Alright, okay, I can also make a copy of this one. This will give us a feeling of as if there is a buttonhole. Okay, now at the back also we have loops, so I'm going to make a copy of this one only and make another copy of this one here in the center and send it to the back. Control shift left bracket will send it to the back. Control shift left bracket again. Right bracket brings it on top and left bracket sends it to the back. Okay, the loops are done. I think the loop should be here, and I'm also going to pull it up a little. And this is a basic version of the denim spec you can do. The very basic version. Alright. Now we also add some contour lines just for you. So let's get rid of the fill and increase the thickness of the line to 3 and change the profile. For changing the profile you need to deselect and select the line back again, and from here uniform change it to the first width profile you have, and then you can push it like so. Alright, and you can calibrate this curve further if you want. Alright, fine. I think it's slightly bigger than it should be, so I'll reduce the size. Okay, we can fill up textures, we can fill up colors inside and do all sort of things. Now I'll create the back of the denim, so I'll hold alt on the keyboard, select everything and make a copy of this one. Now of course these pockets will go away, so let's delete first what is not there in the back, and we need to also combine these two shapes together. So I'll first get rid of this, 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 this. Oh, this we require. Okay, okay. I don't need a fly at the back. I need this line. I also need this one, but we will create, a different one. Okay, let's get rid of this. And rivets we will also require. I'll just keep it one spare so that we can repeat it. Now I don't want this, and this. We will keep this one also. Okay, we'll also keep it spare just if we need it. We'll select these three, hold shift on the keyboard, control shift and press right bracket to bring it on top. It's the back of the denim, and this shape we don't want. Actually we want to merge this shape with this one, so I'll select these two and click one, unite. Select these two and click unite. Fine. I'll select these three and then click on unite. Fine. Okay, I think the thickness of the stitch is too much here, so I'll just push it down like so and then click, and now here I can click and then drag it to match it with the top. Fine. I'm also going to push it towards right a little to reduce the thickness of the stitch area. Now we need to create the back yoke of the denim. I'll use pen tool once again. I'm just going to do the half of it. So click, and then let's say that I have a little curve here. Most of the styling people do here while defining these lines. So and I'm going to make one more copy of it. Hold alt and drag it down because I have double stitch here. And let's say that I want one more for defining the fold of the fabric, and I'll remove the dash from there. Okay, now I'll create the pocket For creating the pocket, again I'm going to use pen tool. Click here, it has a curve, click back on it, and again I'll continue the curve, click here, drag. It looks deformed, but no issues, we can always fix it up. Alright, so usually what is suggested that you do the pocket separately, okay, and also print because this is a place where mostly styling is done when it comes to designing a denim. So you do the pockets separately with full specification in terms of the size of the pocket, okay, and then place one instance here inside. Alright, so more or less we have a nice looking pocket at the back, and we want to give this stitch line here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this pocket. I can also do that stitch line with pen tool, but I think that is going to take a lot of time. So what I'll do, I'll play a little trick here. I'll just copy this pocket and say Ctrl F on the keyboard to paste another instance on top of it. Now I need to go to the isolation mode, and for that I'll double click on it, go inside, switch to direct selection tool, select this line and hit delete on the keyboard. Sorry, you need to select only this line and hit delete to get rid of that line. We have this, and we will resize it from the center. So I'm going to hold Alt so that it resizes from the center, and I'm also going to hold Shift so that it doesn't lose its proportion. But in this case, even if it loses its proportion, it's fine. Okay, so this is what we want. Switch on the dashed lines here and then come out of the isolation mode. I also need one line here, so I'll click on the line tool and click and drag to make the top of the pocket, and I'll copy the same line down, select the first one and switch off the dash lines from there. Now I'll be needing rivets which I can place in the pockets, and I also need that stitch line, the decorative stitch usually people do here. So I'm going to make one like so. Fine, and I can offset it also or convert this into a dashed line. Okay, and this rivet we are going to place where it is required. Let's bring it on top, Ctrl Shift right bracket, place it here, I'll make another copy, place it here, and I'll make another copy, place it here. So I'm going to make a copy of the things I need to replicate to the left hand side. So we are going to select all these things here one by one, hold Shift and do that. See, now I can hold Shift and select, keep on selecting each and everything, or what I can do, I can click and drag, select everything and then hold Shift and then deselect this one. Alright, I'll say Ctrl Z and say Ctrl Z to group all of them. Now I need to make a copy, so I'll switch to mirror and click here. Oh, sorry, click here and then I think choose mirror and then click here. Something wrong with the mouse, I suppose, and then do the same. So it got replicated exactly how we wanted it. The very last thing is putting these bar tucks. and let's bring it on top. Control Shift right bracket, pull it down. I'll make a copy of it, hold Alt and then do so. Make another copy and place it here. Fine. We'll add that contour line here, and in this case slightly different than it was in the front. It got joined with this one. So if you are having these kind of trouble, then you just select everything and say Control 2 on the keyboard to lock them. Control plus 2, the numerical tool you have, and then I'll use pen tool and do the same. Alright, switch off the dash, increase the thickness, and then choose a profile. Right now if I go for the profile settings, I am not having that there, but I can go to the strokes panel and find the same here as well. Okay, let's decrease the thickness, I think 2 points, and place it here. And if it has a PU patch at the back, you leave a place for that as well. And let's fill it up with white. So basically when we design denim, we design all these small things. We design the PU patch, we design pockets separately. Alright, we give all the details. Now one important thing to keep in mind, that these two stitches, we have to unlock it here. So Control Alt 2 is going to unlock all of them. See, if these stitches are appearing at the front, how can they appear at the back also? That should not be the case. So let's remove these stitches. To select them and remove them. Okay, and we can put a side stitch here if you want, or you can leave it this way also. That's fine. Alright, so this is how you do the basic flat drawing of denim. I have fast forwarded the video here because I'm going to fill colors into it, and that is something I wish to cover it in a separate video. This is how you can basically fill color inside the denim, and it's not only limited to color. You can also put textures inside, you can also put swatches inside. And remember, we have converted that ribbon we made into a symbol, and right now it's about, if I do the change in just one ribbon, it's going to reflect in all of them, and that's the power of symbols in Illustrator. So I would suggest, if you have something which is supposed to be replicated multiple times in your artwork, you create a symbol of it, because if later on you decide to change something it will reflect in all of them. Thanks a ton for sticking with me till the end of this video, and I would really love to hear something from your side. As suggestions, queries or feedback, please put them down in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, have a nice time.